Z Homestead. How the heck are you today? Yeah, this little talk here, we're going to be talking about the coming food crisis and what we're looking at. And I got to be honest with you, it don't look real good. Here's what's going on. This has been flying around for a while now, and it has gotten to the point to where I think y'all need to know about it, really. We have some lawsuits flying against some of the major producers of meat as far as the processing here in this country. Yeah. Tyson Foods, Cargill, JBS, and National. These guys combined make up about 85% of all the meat processed in this country. And this started back in, 2015, 2016 is when this first started rearing its ugly head. That's, if you recall, back then, cattle prices went way high. Yeah. It started cutting into those corporations' profit margins. So they all sat down to have a talk about it. And it looks like their solution was to take control of pricing by controlling supply. They would come out with, they would reduce their production levels, okay? Charge the distributors more, the people buying their product, okay, the processed meats, because there wasn't enough. And then they weren't buying cattle, okay, from U.S. Cattlemen, and instead they were going overseas and getting these imported son of a guns, and they'd played games with some of the labeling laws to where if an animal is slaughtered in the U.S., okay, it gets labeled as a U.S. product. Yeah, isn't that nice? It could come from anywhere. Okay, Chile, Venezuela, wherever. All right. And, all the grower down there has got to tell them, the producer down there has got, oh yeah, we raise them on grass. And they can label it even as grass-fed beef and things of this nature. It's became a racket. Well, lawsuits have been launched against them over this price fixing. Because what they were doing was, here again, not buying cattle, saying that they'd cut back they were in control of how many meat cutters were out there on that floor. They would cut back their production. Tell the cattlemen in this country, well, we don't need your cows right now. We're down on production. And then tell their customer, the distributors, hey, listen, we're low on product, so that's the reason we're having to kind of charge more. They were making it hand over fist both directions, okay? And then we have COVID-19. What a gold mine. These boys got together again over booze, I guess, and decided, yeah, we can clean up on this. So the first thing they did was, when COVID-19 first became an issue, had every employee they had tested. And as they did that, well, lo and behold, had a bunch of people that had the stuff. Well, then for some reason, and I can't imagine the rank and file really getting all that crazy about this, but let's say the rank and file did that. Apparently the unions jumped up to protect the workers and said, oh, this is an unsafe working environment, and therefore they shut them down. Okay? Minimal skeleton staffs. Thus really reducing the supply and demand. They cut off the supply and the demand went up. Thus their price went up. So when they started having to come up with animals to put through their system, they started buying them overseas. Yeah, the ships been coming in. Yeah, they've been processing beef, and pigs and chickens and so forth. But it wasn't going to the American markets. It was going overseas. Now, here's where they have a problem. If America gets up to full normal consumption, okay, just normal consumption, the surplus meat out on the foreign markets won't meet the demand. No goodness. There's a built-in shortage, isn't there? And they're going to rake you over the coals. That's their plan. Now, I don't want this to sound like one of those I told you so's, but if you'll look back through the GMO versus common sense, you're going to see that these people have had this plan in place for quite a while. Yeah. And it's getting worse. Monsanto has released their new corn for the dicambas. That stuff can survive anything. Okay, I think it can handle a nuclear blast. Right now, they've got open hearings where they're trying to bring this stuff onto market. Yeah. Problem with that is that one of the traits of this new corn product is it is the most invasive species of corn ever developed. Yeah. Talk about invading what is left of the seed market. Here we go. Okay. And your politicians have been, to some degree, letting them get away with this. A lot. Now, I got to give Donald Trump credit. When these lawsuits have hit and they really kicked the cattle and pork producers in the tush, they have launched a DOJ investigation on this. I doubt it goes very far. Okay? Too much money being spread around. Take like with Monsanto and their corn. The information about this corn, how bad it is proprietary information to Bayer. And in the documents that they sent out to the USDA, they basically told the USDA, listen, Monsanto's filing for this. The proprietary information belongs to Bayer, and they don't want it released. So basically, approve it, but we're not going to even tell you what it's all about. And our government will probably approve it. Yeah. So, your food industry is being taken over. And they will control you with food. Okay? It doesn't matter how much money you make. Okay? They're doing this with control of product, which was their plan all along. When they drive the ranchers and the cattle producers out of business, they'll be there to buy their places and put them back into production. Okay? And then they won't need quite as much foreign meats and things of this nature. These people are slime bags. I'm going to tell you now. All right? They are slime. They've been playing the American public, and they are planning on using food to control you. For darn sure, they're going to make a lot of money off you. Okay? Because you're going to pay the price. If hamburger's $20 a pound, but that's all you got. That's all you got. And that's the game they're playing. To list them out again, Tyson Foods, Cargill, JBS, and National. They have royally hosed you folks. And man, when this COVID-19 come along, they were doing handsprings. It's like, oh man, the gods have opened up and smiled upon us. They are making record profits. These producers have upped their income for the past several months with the COVID-19 thing to over $1 billion a week. more than they've ever made before. Yeah, got a plan, and they're instituting it. Now, what can happen? Well, there's a couple of things. A lot of the cattle associations are beginning to look at how do we get around this? You know, how do we get a fair market system set up again? Well, I'll tell you, folks, it's probably going to mean you are going to end up going to the farm to buy your meat. Because number one, it'll get so expensive in the stores because if the American cattleman says, no, we've set up our own processors. That's the talk, yeah, of forming cooperative groups and setting up processors state by state and pulling those cattle off the market. Then these boys won't have anywhere to go to get their goods, all right? They'll have to use the foreign markets. Well, the problem with the foreign markets is they already have a market, and that is the rest of the world. There's not enough left over for the good old US of A. So the shortages will be there. We're trying as the cattle industry to turn this around. Yeah, it's going to be inconvenient. You know, you're going to have to find a producer who has meat. They're going to put it in their stores, or maybe a co-op stores locally. There is some talk right now about culling the existing herd. And there's also some talk of flooding the foreign markets. Our government has regulations against that. The cattle associations are beginning to talk to the government about, we're not playing on fair ground here. Okay? And if you're not going to do something, we are, so that we can restart this industry. What you can do, start dealing with your local farmers. Right now, if you want to have beef at the initial onset of this at a reasonable price, you might want to talk to a farmer about buying at market rate, the real market rate, a cow. If your family members or a couple neighbors get together, buy a cow, ask him, and I'm sure he'll do it for a few extra bucks, haul it down to whatever processor he uses for his personal beef, process it, you pick up the meat there, and trottle along. You'll probably be in the neighborhood of about, $5 to $6 a pound. Okay, but you're going to be eating steaks and ribs and, good beef. It's coming to a head, and more folks are starting to talk to it because it is coming to a head. The industry as a whole has said enough. Okay, we take a great deal of pride in what we do as far as raising animals and so forth. I heard one fellow say, oh, they just eat grass. Yeah. And if you want to produce a quality animal, you have to give them a salad, not just grass, which means you're out planting a crop, basically, for those cattle to eat. It doesn't come cheap. Okay? And you'll see people raise cattle on just plain fescue grass and so forth. Problem with that is they put weight on very slowly, so you have underweight animals going into market and things of this nature. So done right, the flavor of the beef, the condition of the beef, the marbleization and so forth, all that plays together. I had a college professor tell me one time, the flavor's in the fat. You gotta have fat. So, wake up, folks. Lean all over your politicians, especially with this Monsanto nonsense. And what these primary producers are doing. You pick up a bag of Tyson's chicken breasts, you might want to lay them back down again. Because they are deliberately trying to empty your wallet out. Nothing short of theft. Okay? That's where they're headed. And by the way, some of the other processors out there, they are owned by places like China. So these people don't have your interest at heart. All right? And they're hosing you and they're hosing the other Americans called the producers. American agriculture is about ready to stand up and say enough. All right? Pretty business savvy anymore compared to what the farmers in the 30s and so forth were. They're not dealing with a bunch of, hayseeds anymore. They're dealing with college-educated people who have specialized in these fields. And they've had enough of the game plan. We've had enough out of the politicians with their being bought by these corporations. Okay? Getting a little tired of the fascism coming out of Washington, D.C. and the corporate cronyism that goes on. It's time we start putting pressure on our government and let them know we've had enough. Otherwise, your future is one where these kind of people, the Monsantos and the Bayer and the Cargills and the ADMs and so forth, they control you. They own you. You want to eat? You do as you're told. Okay? And they're gearing you up for it. Better wake up, folks. That's where we're at. That's what's going on. Who knows how it'll get resolved. But they about broke the back of the cattle industry this year with it. They've used this COVID-19 to just lay into them. But, like I said, tough breed of people in this industry. And a bunch of them are pretty ornery. And it's like, I'd rather go out of business than play your game any further. And if enough of them take that attitude, there's not enough producers out there in the world, folks, to keep you fed. Keep that in mind. But the American agriculture is getting tired. Work hard. We do the best. We're the best in the world at what we do. We need your help. As an industry, we need your help. As crop farmers, we need your help. Where do you think the grain farmers have to take their grain to? Same clowns. Same clowns. They control it all. Wake up, America. Or one day you're going to wake up and find out, son of a gun, I'm not free any longer. Pat your government on the back and pat these corporations that you've been giving your money to for a lot of years. Pat them on the back. You're paying for your own captivity. What a shame. Wake up, folks. So what's going on? Yeah, we're getting ready to launch into a us versus them with your food. It could get interesting. Let me know what you think about the situation, and maybe we can hash together some ideas to start trying to put the brakes on this. But right now, that's where it's at. It's not good. I've sat on some of this stuff for a while because I just didn't want to get nuts with it and sound like I'm out spreading fear. But if you'll go back and look at that old playlist, you'll see, that was one of the things I was trying to tell you, they have a plan to take over your food supply, cradle to grave, and price it that way wherever they want. And these politicians don't stand up to them. They really don't. They're bought and paid for. Okay? Donald Trump can only do so much. He needs Congress. And let me tell you something. Congress is in these people's back pocket. They own them. So that's what you're running into. Heaven help us. Okay? This is gonna, you're gonna find your household budget gonna get turned upside down the next couple of years. Your mortgage isn't gonna be your biggest concern. Feeding your family is gonna be. Wake up, America. They're pushing hard. You can stop them. Lord, we stopped the most powerful empire in the world in the past. Twice. These guys could be brought and towed too. All right? Wake up, America. I think you folks out there on this channel pretty much understand. It's time you start talking to your neighbors and stuff. You're being hosed. They're being hosed. Better get involved. Because if you don't get involved, they're going to get away with it. All right? It's that simple. Love you guys and I appreciate you. But wake up. Okay? Wake up. Because it's going to be tough if you don't. Yeah, it really is. They've got it well underway. And use COVID-19 as part of the... That's slimy. I'm sorry. Okay, that is just slimy. But I'm beginning to understand maybe now why we had the lockdowns and stuff. A lot was going on while we were locked in watching Netflix, okay? Y'all have a great day. Take care. Wake up. You need to wake up. Talk to you later.